Shalom everybody, hope you're doing well. Akiva here. Shabbos is coming soon. Sharing a thought with you about this week's Torah portion, Parahat Bo. Right, incredible things are happening. The redemption of the Jewish people is coming soon. The last of the 10 plagues is happening in this week's Torah portion, and the process of redemption is unfolding more and more. And as the story is still happening, and as the process is still unfolding, the Jewish people through Moshe receive this mitzvah of Pesach, of celebrating the holiday of Pesach, and sharing this story of what's happening right now with future generations. Never to forget it, to understand that it's not just for you, for this year, for the people who are witnessing it. What's happening here is for the Jewish people forever, for all generations. And the Meshech Chachma comes and expounds on a certain verse that mentions and talks about this. It says that this holiday of Pesach you should celebrate it as a Chag to Hashem for all the generations, and it should be an eternal decree, right, that you should celebrate it. And so he says this beautiful teaching. He says if we understand Pesach and the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, right, the freeing of the Jewish people from Egypt, as only a physical salvation, as only a redemption and a freeing on a physical level, then it might come that one day some Jew might say, look, when we're free, we'll celebrate it. But if we're ever in bondage again, it makes no sense to celebrate it. Why would we celebrate a holiday of freedom when we're in bondage today? If it's only happening on a physical level, we're physically, being oppressed and persecuted, right now. So it doesn't make sense to celebrate this holiday. But the Meshech Chachma says, a big Rav of Europe who lived about 100 years ago, he says if we understand this on a spiritual level, and that the salvation, the redemption for the Jewish people was a spiritual freeing, then it's forever. Right? If we understand that what happened to the Jewish people in Egypt was a spiritual purification, was a spiritual redemption, was taking them from the lowest of the spiritual places, right? Was elevating them and bringing them closer to their true selves, and that's forever. Nobody could ever take that away from us. Physically, yes, people could persecute and oppress, and we know, unfortunately, the Jews have been through more than their fair share. There's no such thing as a fair share, but we've been through a lot. Right? But even through the darkest nights, and even through the hardest times, what this teaching, what this verse, and what the Torah is trying to share with us is that after Egypt, the Jews have never been fully enslaved, no matter what happened, not even in the Holocaust, not even the darkest nights. Right? Our deepest essence has always been free. There's a part of us that nobody ever could touch. Right? And the fact that the Jewish people still remain, how is it possible? Right? It's a classic question. Everybody asks it. How is it possible that we've remained a nation after all these thousands of years of so many trials and tribulations and so many dark times, so many hard times? Right? Because this nikudah, this point inside of us, has always been free, a point that nobody can touch. No matter how strong their hate for the Jewish people is, no matter how strong their desire to annihilate and destroy us, this is unbreakable. This freedom is forever. Right? And when we understand the story of Egypt and the Chag of Pesach on that level, we know no matter what we're going through, right, this holiday is meant to be celebrated and commemorated and be remembered and connected to. Right? We can understand this on a national level. We can understand it on a personal level as well. Like we say so many times, one of the strongest things we have in our lives and in the world, and that the Torah teaches us, is the idea of emunah, of faith, of belief. Knowing that when we're going through tough times, it's not forever, it's not eternal, it doesn't reach the deepest point inside of me. Right? That our essence, as spiritual beings, we're free. And the things that we're going through, for various reasons, we may or may not understand them. We might not understand them now, we might understand them in the future. Right? But this idea that salvation exists, salvation will come, that on the deepest level we're already free, we're already saved. Right? In the holiday of Pesach, in this week's Torah portion, in this whole story that's unfolding, right? Not just in the pages of the Torah, but in our lives right now, individually as a nation and as a world, right? That the essence of who we are is free beings. And what we're going through is to bring us forward and to help us realize that even more, and to teach us the lessons that we need to learn in this world. Right? So I want to bless you and me as we come into Shabbat, in the light of Shabbat, right, that we can connect to this idea and bring this idea stronger in our lives. Last quick little thought as it jumps into my head, we learned that the second to last of the plagues is the plague of darkness. Right? and the darkness descended. It was like a physical darkness. It wasn't just like the absence of light, but it was an actual physical entity of darkness. It was so thick, this darkness that the Egyptians experienced. But at the same time, there was light for the Jewish people. Right? There could be darkness in the world, and there could be light in this world. There can be darkness at the same time as light. So much of it depends on us, how we perceive the world, how we approach the world, how we live our lives. We can see the darkness, we can see the light. It's up to us. We can create darkness, we can create light. Right? Simultaneously, as someone lives in the deepest darkness, somebody else can live in the brightest light. We should be blessed to live in that bright light, right? And share with those who are unfortunately stuck in the darkness, teach them how to get out of it and to see the light. Right? And there's another beautiful teaching by the Chidush HaRim, I believe, the first Ger Rebbe, who says that it says, in the plague of the darkness, that one person could not see his fellow. Right? That's how dark it was. And he basically comments on this. Right? He says, "Lo ro'u ish et echav v'lo kamu ish mitachtav," saying that the deepest darkness is when we don't see our fellow, when we don't see our brothers and our sisters, right? Especially the ones who are suffering and in pain and need our help. Right? When we don't see the ones around us, and we don't see their needs, and we don't try to take care of the needs, that's the deepest darkness. Right? So we should be blessed to open up our eyes, use the light of Shabbat, right, to be able to see really what's around us, to see the beauty of this world, to see those in need, and to increase the light, right, as always. Right? Sending love and blessing, and Shabbat Shalom from the land of Israel. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.